All right, welcome to the channel. And I was scrolling through X last night and I came across this post from Mark Carney, and it kind of frustrated me, also made me laugh. If you're reading this, you're probably saving money in taxes this year. On July 1st, we delivered on a promise to cut taxes for the middle class so Canadians can keep more of their paychecks. I don't know about you, but I haven't noticed anything. Now, I calculated this out one time, and I believe the tax cut was enough for me personally to go and buy a coffee once a week at Tim Hortons. This is nothing to brag about. He should be embarrassed. If you could, hit that like button. Please consider subscribing. Let me know in the comments below if you are saving money on taxes. The deadline for the trade deal is only hours away, and it's not looking good for Canada.
Let's bring in CTV News political commentator Scott Reed. Scott, let's talk about those trade discussions as we come up to this Friday deadline. Mark Carney and his team are becoming very tight-lipped about the specifics of this deal. Where do you see it with just 2 days from now until this apparent deadline?
Well, it's difficult to be optimistic insofar as if optimism means we're hoping for a deal, it really does seem as though Donald Trump is basically saying to partners like Canada, other jurisdictions, we're not negotiating, we're just telling you what we will accept. And if you don't accept it, then we will inflict further economic harm upon you. And so that's not much of a basis for a win-win bilateral deal. We'll see. Maybe a rabbit will be yanked out of a hat. But the way that the president was boasting today on air about how duties are going to be pouring in, and you look at his deals where he has a 15, 18, 19% across the board tariff, it really does look as though his genuine objective at this point is to try to create a stream of revenues that go into the United States Treasury.
So Scott Reed says it really does seem that basically Donald Trump is saying we're not negotiating. We're just telling you what we will accept. Well, we know this is exactly the case. Mark Carney needs to understand this and get the best deal possible under these circumstances. Trump has said exactly what he wants, and if you don't do it, he's going to punish Canada. This is an unfortunate situation, and it's really easy to blame Trump, but it's our own incompetent government's fault that put us in this situation. Trump is doing what's best for America and the American people, and their country is booming. A post from Donald Trump's own True Social. Tariffs are making America great and rich again. They were successfully used against the U.S. for decades and coupled with really dumb, pathetic, and crooked politicians. No apostrophe needed there, Donald, having a devastating impact on the future and even the survival of the country. Now the tide is completely turned, and America has successfully countered this onslaught of tariffs used against it. 1 year ago, America was a dead country. Now it is the hottest country anywhere in the world. Congratulations to all. As we come closer to the trade deadline, what does Carney do? He decides that this was the best time to release a statement on Canada's recognition of a Palestinian state, which didn't go over too well with Trump and will again, like everything Carney does, result in more suffering for Canadians. Almost like this was the Liberals' plan all along, which of course we know it is. Trump responded on True Social with, "Wow, Canada just announced that it is backing the statehood for Palestine. This is going to make it very hard for us to make a deal with them. Oh, Canada." This was a deliberate sabotage of the trade negotiation by Mark Carney. This could have been announced any other time, not hours before the deadline. Mark Carney not only upsetting President Trump in America, but also Israel as they issued a statement about it.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. We begin with breaking news. The Canadian government has decided on a major policy shift in the Middle East. Prime Minister Mark Carney says Canada will join France and the UK and other countries in recognizing Palestine as a state at a meeting of the UN General Assembly in September. Late today, Carney said the level of human suffering in Gaza has become intolerable and leaves no room for delay. And he said simply calling for a negotiated two-state solution as part of a peace process, which Canada has supported for years, is no longer tenable.
Canada intends to recognize the state of Palestine at the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly in September 2025. This intention is predicated on the Palestinian Authority's commitment to much-needed reforms, including commitments by the Palestinian Authority's President Abbas to fundamentally reform its governance, to hold general elections in 2026 in which Hamas can play no part, and to demilitarize the Palestinian state.
Carney said he spoke with the Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas earlier today. And late today, the Israeli Foreign Ministry released a statement saying Israel rejects the statement by the Prime Minister of Canada. The change in position of the Canadian government at this time is a reward for Hamas and harms the efforts to achieve a ceasefire in Gaza and a framework for the release of the hostages.
Let me know in the comments below if you agree with Mark Carney's decision. I personally don't, and I think Canada needs to step away from almost everything to do with any conflict in a foreign country. We can't even take care of the people here. We have people suffering in Canada, and the Liberals just ignore them. It's pointless to try to help people on the opposite side of the world while stepping on the throats of Canadians. These are the people that need help right here, and the Canadian government has just completely abandoned them. They've discarded them like trash. And it's disgusting. We need to help these people. Bank of Canada holds the interest rates at 2.75% while pointing the blame at Trump and the tariffs. Canada could and should be in such an amazing position where these tariffs would have little impact on us, but here we are. Point the blame where it's deserved. Every problem in Canada is because of the Liberal government.
The sad reality is that tariffs mean the economy is going to work less efficiently. It means, there's going to be less income. So there's going to be less consumption. So yes, the economy will resume growing, but it'll be on a permanently lower path. And in that sense, yes, the tariffs have a permanent effect on the economy unless they're removed. And when you set exports aside, what you're seeing on the consumption side is you're seeing consumption is still growing. It's growing modestly. It's certainly being restrained by the uncertainty caused by tariffs, but it is growing, and we expect that to continue through the third and fourth quarters. So you get the third and fourth quarters, you get modest growth, I think is the message. You get a contraction in the second quarter, you get modest growth through the rest of the year. I mean, the second quarter's happened, it's over. You get modest growth through the rest of the year, and in that current tariff scenario, growth picks up further through 2026 and 2027. Let's hope there's an agreement between Canada and the United States. Let's hope it's a good agreement. But yes, there is a sense that U.S. policy may well remain unpredictable. There is a sense that trust is not. It's going to be hard to restore trust. So yes, I think some level of uncertainty will continue.
Doug Ford had a response on X. I'm shocked by this decision. As we stare down economic uncertainty, that's putting hundreds of thousands of jobs at risk. It's never been more important to stimulate economic growth and keep Canadians working, rather than wait around and let President Trump's tariffs do even more. I'm not going to read the rest. They don't care about jobs. Hundreds of thousands of jobs at risk because of this. They bring millions of people into the country. That's taking our jobs away. No comments about that, Ford. The guy's a complete idiot. That's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts. I read them all. If you could, hit that like button. Please consider subscribing. I will see you in the next one. Bye.